Hello there, and welcome back to Ears to the East, specifically our World Tour Wednesdays, where today we are talking about the music of Thailand. If you didn't catch it last week, we started with our first episode, which was all based on music of Indonesia, and we're just trying this out like once every week on Wednesdays, putting out an episode where we just have a little bit of a taster of the music from a country. And as before, where Neon, you were tasked with finding music from Indonesia. I was tasked with finding music from the great nation of Thailand. So I decided to pick on this one because partly because one of the picks was a group who I've been promising to people in my Discord I would talk about for ages and never actually got round to speaking about them. And I've always felt guilty about that. So this gives me a chance to right a wrong. And also because,
Howard feels guilt.
I know, it's amazing. It's kind of a new feeling for me. I was, what is this weird tingling sensation where I feel like everything I do is not perfect? I mean, I've been lucky enough that obviously I've been to quite a few of the countries that we get to talk about in this series, which
Rub
is
it in.
although Indonesia was the first one we did. I haven't been to Indonesia, but so being to Thailand, really interesting country. Quite a lot of surprises there, a lot of things that are different from what the stereotypes would say. It's kind of very different from a lot of the stereotypes. And so I wanted to try and capture an interesting glimpse into Thailand's music. Obviously, 3 songs is never enough, but this was my attempt to try and have a little bit of a look at the contemporary music of Thailand. So I've got 3 songs. The first one is a band who I've been looking to talk about for a while. The second is a band who've got less than 1,000 subscribers because I thought, well, hey, even on World Tour Wednesdays, let's try and pick up some unknown bands. And the third one has got millions of views and is a little bit more of a popular choice. So I've tried to cover the bases. But as always, I'll be presenting these choices to the dear gentlemen here who will help to give me their opinions. The big difference is right here. So this is the first problem we have here. This music's from Thailand. And as you may know, in Thailand, they have their own system of writing. And I don't understand any of that. So there will be links in the description below because can't help me, I don't know the names of half the stuff in here. It's just very, very cool looking lines doing crazy stuff. So if you understand the names, you know how to translate them, get in the comments, tell us more, share some information. And if you want to give us more awesome music from Thailand or give us more recommendations for future World Tour Wednesdays, let us please do so. But first of all, shall we jump in with the first selection? This one, I do know the name of this band. This is the band I've been saying I need to talk about for a while. This band is called, let me try and pronounce it correctly. It is Aliz. I think it's Aliz or Aliz. It's Aliz. That's all you need to know to get started. And this is their most recent song. So just first of all, has anyone heard of this group? Either of you heard of them before?
No, it's first for me.
Oh, cool. All right. They are they're a popular band, all-female rock band. Kind of came to my attention, like a lot of, I think, as you could probably imagine, a lot of Bandmate fans were kind of into them when they first came out. They are just, very much sort of all-female rock group. This song I picked them, I think it's their most recent one. It's a little, because they've got like some really big ballad songs. And like we were saying in the last World Tour Wednesday, focusing on Indonesia, a lot of these countries, ballads are a very big way of breaking out. I think we said one thing that seems to be commonplace in almost every country is you'll always have metal bands and ballads wherever you go in the world. This band have some big popular ballad sounding songs. They also have a lot of rock songs more akin to sort of the Bandmate sound. But I thought this was a really nice song that landed somewhere in the middle. It had like a rock vibe to it, also had a bit of a melodic feel to it, sort of sense of ballading. Some of that guitar noodling solo work in there that was almost akin to Love Bites. It just kind of had like a nice mixture of really cool female rock sounds. You can raise that eyebrow as high as you want, my friend, because now it's your chance
Doesn't go
to
high
get
enough
me
for what you said.
feedback. It's going to disappear under your hat. I wasn't saying it sounded the same as Love Bites. I'm saying that I can imagine that, people who like one would probably see a similar value, so being able to layer a nice guitar solo over something that's already quite, big and melodic rather than it just being sort of charging guitar solo, which is perhaps, what rock fans may be more used to hearing. So, all right, thoughts, come on, dive in.
I want
Go
Benedict
on,
to go
go on,
first.
Benedict.
I want to hear what Benedict has to say.
we really want to
I've
start
got
on
to
a
get, my
negative note?
Yeah, I would have taken
Go for
the
it,
ball
dude.
by the horns, but just seeing your reaction, even I'm interested. I can't wait. Yeah, go on, go for it.
Well,
Benedict's usually the docile one, so
yeah, but not for this one. Gotta say, like, I don't agree at all what you said. Like, I would have never thought about Love Bites, and I don't even think about Bandmate, because to me, this is a song that's, there's nothing wrong with this song. I could listen to this and like I didn't have to force myself to listen to it. And I think it even gets a little bit better at the end, but not enough like to get me in any way. It's just in that it's another bit personal subjective thing, but it's in that soft pop rock vein.
I
It's
wouldn't call it
just,
soft pop rock. I'd say
to
it's
me,
heavier
it's
than
very
pop rock. I mean,
much
it's definitely more
soft
rock than it
pop
is.
rock. I don't know. The rock in
Do you
there,
mean
it's
because
really soft to me.
I mean,
I think you put the
I
nail in your own coffin as soon as you mentioned Love Bites in the same breath. I think that
well,
was
yeah,
it.
I mean, to be honest,
Well, that's we just ignore
I
that one.
yeah, no, well, that's the problem is I mean, like, if you're sort of like taking that as a literal, oh, it sounds like Love Bites, yeah, that's not what I meant. I mean,
No.
what I'm
I
saying,
know what you mean, but
I'm
still,
looking
I
for
wouldn't
like
agree.
commonalities, like sort of ways that you could because like I said, this is a band who a lot of people wanted me to cover, and I was very happy. Sometimes people ask you to cover a band, you hear it, you go, I don't quite get it. With this one, I kind of, I just got it. This wasn't the first song I was introduced to, admittedly. I'd been introduced to some heavier songs that were more, sort of heavy, guitar noodling. But this was one that for me caught my eye a bit more because I noticed as a band they have a really great, like a great quality for melody as well. So I felt that this had like little glimpses of all the various things they did in the song. Whether it's soft or not, I mean, yeah, it's softer than like a metal song. It's not like a hard rock song, but
Yeah, but that's the
it's
thing. It's
definitely
not
more rock
even
than
a
it is
hard rock
pop.
song. It's to me,
Well,
it's
that
like a pop rock, and that's just not something I
yeah,
enjoy a
yeah,
lot, I
maybe
would say. I know that's very popular, and you see like from the views, it is a popular
yeah.
genre. It's just not for me, but it's just I didn't like it because to me it sounded like something I would hear like in the radio here in the West. I mean, I don't mean that in a too bad way, but like as soon as I listened to the next song, I already couldn't tell you like the melody of the song or like how the song is going. Like it immediately was
Okay,
washed
so maybe
away.
let's try reframing that because I mean definitely don't agree on the melody. And I would say that when it comes to comparison to the Western music, yeah, okay, it doesn't quite have the level of intricacy that I usually go to Japanese bands for. And obviously, the fact that we mainly focus on Japanese bands is partly because of the fact that Japanese bands have pushed so many boundaries so far forwards. But I definitely felt that it showed more intricacy towards like harmony and arrangement, and there was more layering than I would expect from most of their Western contemporaries. So for me, it still stood out as being more in line with the things
I mean,
that we
like I
love about
said, don't get it
Japanese
wrong here.
music than
There's nothing
otherwise.
wrong with the
But
song. It is a nice song.
okay, but okay, so let's present a different way. I mean, for me, one of the reasons why it works so, and the reason why I picked this one maybe more than sort of the more guitar noodly ones, is because I felt that there was a real sense of like there was a feeling to this. There was like an emotion which I quite liked. I like the fact that it carried an emotion. That it didn't just feel like disposable rocking for the sake of rocking. It actually felt like there was some feeling to it. I'm guessing from your reaction that you didn't really get that.
Well, I get that there's feeling to it, but to me, it has that kind of sentimental feeling that I get when I'm listening to Western radio music. And I have exactly that feeling a lot, and it's just not something I'm into.
Okay, I mean, my point is though is that it felt to me like it was done better. Um,
Yeah, didn't really feel that way to me. Felt like kind of the same. Or like at least I couldn't hear any, yeah, outstanding qualities or like this is a song from Thailand or something like that.
Nothing about the arrangement, nothing at all felt
Not
at all.
really, no.
Just sound like a Western song to you.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, but I have to be rough on that because, yeah,
No, that's
that's
fair enough.
exactly that style of music why I hate it. I mean, it's not really pop, but yeah, kind of is pop music. But that's like exactly that kind of music why I hated pop for a long time. I mean, I can get down with it more now, but still, I would never go and listen to the song on my own.
Wow. All right. So Neon, is it just
Sorry.
me alone on the island?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm getting because it's a
I-
fan
Don't worry,
I-
we'll
favorite.
save it for next week.
I've seen breakups less depressing than that review. Wow.
Well, it's fair. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I can see Benedict's angle in that definitely it doesn't quite. I mean, again, I don't quite put them. I mean, obviously, don't put them on the same level as like groups like Bandmate and Love Bites because of the fact that obviously I listen to those groups more. But for me, they still are on a level much higher than the Western contemporaries. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw in a controversial remark as well, just, to put me in a similar situation. I know a lot of people have raved, for example, about The Warning. I would consider this band to be much more interesting arrangement-wise than The Warning. And I know that's me kicking a sacrificial cow as well now. So there you go. I'm going to jump into controversial territory as well.
The Warning that much as well.
Yeah, okay. Benedict, are you just trying to make people kill you? I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Somebody
sorry,
woke up
but
on the
it's
wrong
just
side
to
of the
me,
bed
if you
this morning.
compare something
Benedict.
like this to Bandmate, like Bandmate is so much more engaging and dynamic.
Yeah, I think you're
Doesn't
leaning
take
too
away
hard on
from
that
like the
comparison.
quality of this song.
I think you're leaning very hard on that comparison. I think more what I'm interested in is the fact that if you don't see it as being anything more special than sort of generic sludge around it, then okay, that's fine. It's just like for me, it's like okay, yes, I'm giving a comparison to something we already like, so that people have a bridge to cross. But yeah,
But
if
like
for you,
even
it's
if you
just,
hadn't made that comparison, it wouldn't change my opinion of the song overall.
God damn it, Neon, that's not going to work. Put the fucking controller down, pick up your
Oh,
balls, and jump back
Give
in.
us your opinions, Neon.
Yeah.
Help us get out,
All
or
right,
help me get out
so
of
it's
my
pretty
coffin.
clear.
Like,
It's pretty clear that Neon is not jumping to my defense.
You edit this video, like, as soon as you say Love Bites and Bandmate, this video needs to pause and that meme needs to pop up. This was the moment he knew he fucked up.
No, because I don't think I did. I mean, again, this is a comparison that has been. This is the reason why a lot of people asked me to listen to them. It was fans of these bands who asked me to listen to them originally years ago,
Okay.
and yeah, that was the connection. So this isn't me sort of applying it retrospectively. This is how I got to find those groups. So
yeah, for me, I'm very much I'm very kind of like almost in the middle of this one. I kind of see it from both sides. And I don't even mean that in a very in a safety way. Like I'm not trying to please anybody here. When I first listened to this song, I totally agree with Benedict. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was great. Now, probably the good thing about this is we actually did our songs early this time instead of like 10 minutes before we fucking record these things. So I actually managed to listen to this song quite a few times over the last day, and much like me, the song's definitely a grower and not a shower. I feel like, but repeat listenings, I actually came to like it, and I feel like the second half of the song.
I like it more. I liked it more the more I listen to it, but still will never reach.
I want to split this song into two parts. I feel like the first minute 50 of this song is very bland, very by the numbers, I want to say. And the second half of the song I actually really enjoyed. With the guitar solo, the third chorus, there's more like how it said. There's more a bit of an emotional stake in the third chorus, and it ramps up a little bit, and I like that. Maybe it's a little bit too little, too late, but to save the song as a whole. But the more I listen to it, the more I quite like it. But I wouldn't go as far to say that I would go out my way to give this song more listens than it would do. But I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. It was. I'm not saying not like it. That's a bit harsh. I did like it, but not. It wasn't like groundbreaking for me. It was just okay.
Yeah, I didn't hate the song too. It's just I really don't like the style of music. but it's done great for what it is, I would say.
I quite like the style of music. I think it was safe. That's what I'm going to keep referring to. Safe. I've heard this style of music done worse, a lot worse, and I've heard this style of music done better, a lot better. I didn't think it was bad. I just don't think it was revolutionary either. It was just very safe. You know.
I
Could
I've got to be honest. I think that
It was like having sex with a condom on. It's still sex, it's still good, but the condom kind of gets in the way.
Okay.
You know,
kids you got now?
it could
so
be better. It could feel
It was
better.
at this
but
moment
think, like-
he knew he fucked up.
Wait, we need to get a
think,
Benedict
like-
moment in this video.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I mean, again, I can kind of see it. I just think that I don't know, there is a quality to having a well-constructed, well-layered song where it's not so much that it's showy, but it's, I mean, okay, here's the thing I'm going to put in. Yes, we're not talking nuance in the way of sort of like Bandmate and stuff, but it's still a song that has like nuance in it. It still has those little bits that make it interesting. It still has those layers. It still has a sort of degree of musicality and an arrangement to it that, yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I've got to be honest.
I swear every time
Yeah.
Howard says Bandmate, I see Benedict die a little bit more inside.
Well, who's wearing the hat? Who's wearing the hat? Yeah, you know, it's I just again I think that's an interesting.
Yeah, it's just, you know, yeah, we should ignore that Bandmate comparison.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about your second.
You know,
pick.
the feeling I'm getting from the song.
Once again,
no,
I really do think that you two have taken what was supposed to be a bridge and you've turned it into a comparison that wasn't what it was meant to be.
It's not our fault.
I never said it. Like I said, I never said it was.
No,
bad.
it's because I
quite
brought
like
them
it.
in to like give a causeway. It's like, it's
Yeah,
not
but
heavy
like-
and complicated enough. But anyway, yeah.
I think Benedict set the mood for this one. Maybe I should have gone
I
first.
think you are hanging up too much on that Bandmate and Lovebite thing. I didn't even think about. Yeah, to me that's just something completely different. That's why I don't really see this as a starting point.
Yeah, introduce your second song. Let's move on. We've spent way too long.
I will not mention any other bands. We're screwed on the next one because the next one I thought was the one that I was going to be throwing in for a little bit of chaos, and now I'm really going to be intrigued.
Well, so we can get into the next one because
that's
go ahead.
So the next one's kind of like a little bit of an interesting choice because this group were one that. So this was actually the last one that I found of the three. And I had originally really dived in to kind of have a look, you know, after I found the first two, which I'd already I knew the artists. This one was one that I was trying to find something interesting to put as a third like entry. And I was looking for small bands and it kind of came to my attention. I was reading articles about music in Thailand. It was like, oh, there's this small band. I'll Google them and they either don't exist or they broke up like 10 years ago. It was like so hard. It's like, where can I just find a small active Thai band? So as a result, I just kept on basically clicking next, going through like link after link. And I must listen to hundreds of like Thai songs. And then this one came up and just something really struck me. Now, sometimes YouTube subs can be a little bit confusing because sometimes it's like, you know, someone's posting the video isn't the owner. I think this was posted by the owner. And if it is, then it's quite surprising because they got like a very small number of subscribers. So I'm assuming this is a small, relatively unheard of band. And the feeling immediately was it felt like sort of early 2000s Western pop punk, which might seem like a fairly straight shooting thing. But I was like, I have not really heard this coming out of, you know, trawling through so much Asian music. I've never really just heard a band. I've heard like 1,000,001 bands copying Western metal, copying ballads, doing this, that, the other. I've never just heard, oh, look, it's a pop punk band. And then to back it up, the music video felt like really early 2000s pop punk. Oh, it's a cute relationship. Will they, won't they kind of thing. But what got me was that it was just so full of charm. Like it was so charming. It was so silly. The chorus was really catchy, despite there being a couple of chords, not really much going on. It felt to me like something where, for what it may be, even though nothing about it was like, oh, this is a Thai song, it was like really interesting to hear something where a band from a country like Thailand had just so beautifully engaged with a sound that isn't the most contemporary, is very Western, but have managed to really pinpoint what made that sound so fun to begin with. Pinpoint this super joyful feeling. And again, the music video really played to it as well. And the three guys who seem to make up the band, it seems to be a three-piece band. All three of them seem to be having a big old laugh of it as well. They were really funny in the video. It just came across really well. And so for me, even though it wouldn't be the sort of thing I would normally hunt for when I'm looking for what is a good example of Thai music, I came out of it going, well, I'm really surprised to have heard that. And that for me just stood out. Like this is something where if I went to Thailand, I'd be like, are they playing a show? I've got to check this out. It would just have me like looking for a live house to see where they were playing. So yeah, this was definitely not the sort of thing I was looking for, but I was really glad to find it. So I think the band, now if I've got this the correct way round, the band themselves are actually called Tiny Titan, and the song is a lot of stuff in Thai that I'm not going to even try to read. So thoughts on this one?
You have the links.
Yes, the links are there.
I'll go first for this one. So Ben just do a Debbie Downer. You know what? I heard this song and it made me laugh actually, because it's me and Benedict actually had a little bit of a giggle before you joined the call. We were like, it's so you. Like it is such a you.
Yeah, you even said like so early 2000s.
So early 2000s, and we were like, it just reminds me of the kind of stuff that you're into outside of. I was outside of obviously Thailand. Now I'm just as surprised as you to hear something like this, like that. Maybe that's what caught my attention, because the first, like the other song we were just talking about, them, the first 30 seconds of this song, I was kind of like, oh no, what the fuck is he into? But unlike the other song, yeah, like me. But unlike the first song, this one won me over like 30 seconds in, just with the energy, the corniness, the music video. Like it doesn't do anything spectacular, musically wise, but it's just something uniquely charming about it. And I got to say, out of the three songs that you picked, this one was like weirdly my favorite.
Same.
It just really stood out for me, this one. And yeah, it's just so uniquely different in its sound. But yeah, I just listened to it, and the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, this has got Howard written just all over it, for the type of stuff that like you like and stuff. And I haven't heard some of your work recently, actually. Kind of gave me that vibe as well a little bit. I can see why you'd be drawn to it, even with it being something outside of your traditional
I
get from there.
I wouldn't say, like, musically, I don't know if it's necessarily the sort of thing that I certainly, I listen to a lot of different type of music, and I certainly do listen to this kind of music. It wouldn't make up the majority of what I would listen to, but the whole, for me, the vibe,
that comedic vibe of it.
Yeah, the feeling that it's kind of like it doesn't take itself too seriously. I really like, for example, I like that kind of transition where the very first shot of the music video is them, like, it's just this like sort of really good looking woman. You're like, where's this going to go? And then by the end, it's just them with a little kitty cat. And it's like this transition from like, this is going in a really creepy direction to, it's just a cute video about a kitty cat at the end. And I kind of like the way that they played away from that rather than towards.
I felt like I was 10 years old again in like the early 2000s with like 41 and Alien Ant Farm and all that crap. It was like,
Alien Ant Farm, Blink 182, bands like that.
I think it had that.
Talking about Alien Ant Farm, they actually got a new song out, and fuck me.
Check out my channel.
Yeah, they are old.
Reaction today.
Crap. Yeah, like I seen that dude. I haven't seen that dude in about like 15 years, but oh my, they got old.
It was like new Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah.
What?
to quickly like reference the Blink 182 reference, I think that was actually a good reference, because the thing is that a lot like Blink 182 and Blink 182, like pretty much all their songs for the period of time when they were most famous, were pretty much just the same thing over and over again. But it was all down to how they did. It was the method of delivery. It was the enthusiasm. It was the personality. It was the sense of joy around it. And I think that's what I kind of got from this.
Well,
no, That was when they started going in the
Angel from my
direction of let's
nightmare.
be emos. That was the emo direction. That was a decent album, but then they had Neighborhoods, which is one of the worst albums ever recorded. So let's it's awful. Like they got so many good albums, and Neighborhoods is not one of them. So, but yeah, no, they you could tell that Tom wanted to be in a different band at that point. But yeah, it was like yeah. So for me, this group really captured. Yes, it is a slightly dated sound, but it kind of reminded me. Actually, you know, on Nemophila's Seize the Fate album, I can't remember the name of it. They had that one song which was like super.
I wouldn't say it's
punk.
an outdated sound, it's maybe an outdated style, but I think the sounds is very fresh and modern.
The effect, yeah, okay. So you mean like the sound of the recording is, yeah. I would agree on that. I think the effect, though, the interesting thing is like certain sounds come round every 30 years. This might be a little bit early to bring this sound back, but then again, like you say, a lot of those bands from back in the early 2000s are coming back. So maybe it's exactly the right time. But the effect was very strong. Like Neon said, I had that feeling of like when I was a kid again, hearing these sort of pop punk songs for the first time. It just like immediately filled me with that sense of, everything's so much lighter and easier when you just relax.
Yeah,
it's
time to get the old hair straighteners out again.
What for?
Yes. We need a wig first.
About the three of us can get together and make enough for a mohawk.
One of us can get all the hair.
Okay, so any opinions? Any other opinions on that, or shall we move on to option number 3?
I mean, I really
we'll
like
move
that
on
song as well.
Sorry?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said everything. I really liked that song as well, and I had the same experience that like the first 10 seconds I was thinking, okay, another one of these softer rock songs, but then they came in with their actual sound, and yeah, exactly like we said, everything before. Exactly that 2000 style that I do love. So I love this group as well.
I think, yeah, I think that's that's important with the two variations of these songs. I feel like both of them started off pretty slow and pretty mid, but one is over early and the other one is over maybe a little bit too late. I would say.
When you say us, I think the word us was misused there. Oh, man.
Holy shit! Also, don't mess with Predator.
Don't
I told you before.
Remember, he was fine going third. He could have chosen to go second. He chose to go third. Wait for next week, kids.
Anything.
All right. So, okay, we'll bring up the last one. Now, the last one, I'm going to go in straight away and say it. I can't say the name of the artist. I cannot say the name of the song because, my word, it's a beautiful looking language, but you're going to need a proper language expert to get through that.
I wanted to listen to the original version because it's an acoustic version, but I was on my phone and I somehow couldn't copy it, so I couldn't look for it.
Well, I mean, if you go into the description of her video, because yes, this is a cover, and we'll get to that in a second, because this is a cover of an old song, and the artist in question, who I picked this video by, she seems to be quite very popular. She's got millions of views on each of her videos, it would appear, but she covers seemingly quite well-known older songs from Thai artists, I believe, mostly, if not entirely. So she mainly functions as a cover artist, and I was thinking, should I pick the original or should I pick this version? The reason I picked this version was, and obviously no disrespect to the original, I just felt that I also wanted to highlight how good she was as a vocalist. And I think it is interesting that sometimes, cultures will have like a particular singer who gets famous for their voice, kind of similar to like how, Ado did in Japan, and even Wagaki Band, they started off doing cover songs. So I felt it was worth highlighting both her for her voice and picking this because she picked a song that, from what I gather, and I did a bit of very simple research, again, someone can tell me more in the comments, it seems to be a fairly well-recognized, I'm not gonna say traditional, but an older song that she covered. So I thought this was a nice marriage of the old and the new. And again, it goes back to that thing that we were discussing before, where
like what type of song is the original? Is it a rock song or?
Oh no, it's a very sort of calm acoustic ballad again. There's not a vast difference in tone between her version and the cover, but the older version has a male vocal which sounds kind of has that sort of world written sort of a rusty sort of tone to it a little bit more. Whereas I felt hers was a bit more of a powerful vocal that maybe was more in my taste and probably in the taste of many people who maybe are watching this. But I definitely recommend checking out both for contrast. But yeah, for me, this was an interesting marriage of that older and the newer. But again, it goes back to that thing we were saying that everywhere you go, ballads are that every culture has its ballads. Its folk songs and ballads tend to be intertwined to a degree, and this sort of comes from that folky ballady sort of place. But yeah, I just brilliant voice, beautiful heartfelt song, very very much. Actually, there's one more thing I want to add, but I'll give you guys a chance to have your opinions before I add anything to that.
Do you want to go first on this one, or do you want me to take this one, Benedict?
I thought you were going to say some more.
I'll let you guys talk a little bit before I add another thought to that. But
okay. I mean, I can go first. I can get the negative out of the way first. So,
positive.
Let's go.
Well, I thought overall, the song itself, it's a bit too repetitive. You have a lot of that same hook over and over, like something like that. It's over and over. That's a bit too repetitive. But other than that, I would say it's a beautiful song, very beautiful singer, like you said. Like the arrangement, it's really simple, but doesn't need anything more. And I'm really glad they added a little bit of violin at the end, because that adds some variety that I think really was needed. But yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, you stole my points there. But yeah, no, I thought it was a really, really good thing. For me, this is a big win in my book. I'm a sucker for a good acoustic song. Really, really love that one. Just find myself really kind of leaning towards it. I agree with Benedict. I thought the violins at the end really helped a little bit, because it was bordering on the side of maybe a little bit too repetitive towards the end, and that broke it up quite nicely. But I just thought it was a really, 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 really just purely lovely song. I genuinely enjoyed listening to this one. It didn't give me like the hype or the energy the second pick did, because it's completely different contrasting songs.
Yeah.
But what it did, it just brought me a sense of calm, and it was beautiful to listen to. A very, very great song. Her voice was amazing as well, and I generally like vibed off this. Would I stick it again? I always compare this. Would I listen to this again in my own downtime? And I think I would. Would it be maybe at the top of my list? Maybe not. But I would definitely
like a playlist song. Perhaps.
Yeah. I think it would be a song I would listen to that I would just have on a playlist somewhere, and I'd just be like, maybe I'd be doing something else, like working or.
I would actually like to hear the original. Just
I would like to hear the original.
Sound differs.
It's not a vast difference, but it's definitely one that would be, it's worth checking out.
I mean, just another singer, it's a huge difference for a song like this.
Yeah, again, I went with because I think, like, obviously if you were from Thailand, then you would probably have quite a stronger familiar connection to the original. But obviously I'm sort of looking from the perspective of someone who probably doesn't know the original. I think that the cover is a really good gateway, and I can kind of see why she's so popular. I think that she probably is providing a really great gateway for people to get into these Thai songs that they might not otherwise know, or maybe the original versions are in older, less polished recordings, and she's presenting them in a way that's probably more palatable for a modern age, and sort of people nowadays who used to hearing such crisp, beautiful recordings of everything. So I think that she's her version is the one that I would introduce people to first, but definitely worth checking out the original. What I wanted to quickly I'll add this quickly. The reason why I think I was dabbling, because as I went through Thai songs, I found so many ballads, and a lot of the ballads I found kind of had that vibe that I think is almost the stereotypical one, where it's a little bit too corny. I mean, if you look through Thai songs, like almost every thumbnail for every video is like a picture of a couple, and they're like, one of them's crying or something like this, and it seems like every single one's cut from some sort of soap opera drama. This seems to be a very popular thing, and in a way, I didn't really want to do that, because I'll be honest that I was looking at some of them, and I get it, melodramatic. But yeah, it didn't really resonate with me, and I couldn't really sort of stand and present it with much heart behind it. But with this, I felt like it was those old folk songs where it's a little bit more whimsical, a little bit less melodramatic. The reason why this maybe rings a bell for me is when I was when I've done traveling, when I've been in places like Thailand and in places like Philippines and Vietnam, which are 2 countries that I'd like to also cover in the future on this channel. You always get those little I don't want to call it a restaurant, like a little cafe, like an eating hole where it will just be like a little space where someone's put out some tables and some food, and there'll just be some music playing over a tinny little radio. And so
I can
often
see that, absolutely.
it's this kind of thing. It's like a little folk song or something, and it's probably a cover of an old folk song. And it's just like when I was listening to this, I could kind of in my brain, I could almost imagine it like sort of lo-fied down, coming through a tinny speaker while I was sitting there on like a plastic chair, eating some really beautiful food out of basically little more than styrofoam. And I mean, I could just imagine that and thinking, that's just a really beautiful atmosphere that those places have.
I
And
was
a lot of the
thinking
time, that's the
about a
soundtrack.
different setting, but I totally see that. I was thinking more about like a campfire song, a
I can imagine that, yeah.
chill summer evening in the night, just sitting around a campfire and
I
listening
was
to a nice song.
I was more used to being in the city most of the time, but I 100% can
I'm a
imagine
country
that being the
boy.
case as well. Yeah, and I know. I mean, but yeah, again, I can completely imagine that. And you go to
I don't have a preference between city or country, just somewhere where the spiders aren't.
so city. Oh my God,
I
it's gonna get
know.
real dark with Neil.
Why do you think I live in
Very
UK? It's like the one safe place, apart from
bit one
like
on my
English
elbow
people
when I was
themselves.
asleep once, and it like puffed up really bad. It's horrible. So yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
get any superpowers. I was really angry. So anyway, those are my pick for Thai songs. Any sort of conclusive thoughts? Anything that sort of come from you? Any opinions on Thai music have changed or anything, or was it?
I actually think you did really, really well here, because you pretty much hit the nail on the head of what I thought this was going to be. As soon as you said Thailand, I was kind of like, ooh, because I've done a few reactions, obviously, from Thailand as well. And yeah, I do get kind of sucked into that stereotypical 80s love ballad
Yeah,
genre that they really popular there. And I'd say good on them. Not my cup of tea. So I'm
yeah.
really glad you picked 3 songs which really kind of deviates from that a lot, which is pleasant for me, obviously, but maybe as your typical resident of from there might be seen as maybe not the main focus of that, the genre of music that's played.
Well, this is an interesting thing. Is it's again, obviously, a lot of this is like each person who selects the songs each week is trying to get the best possible interpretation from what they know and what they find out. And then we discuss them. But I'd really love, as well as other people's opinions, for anyone, if you're from the country, let us know. P.S. Alex Albon rules. So feel free to get into there and tell us what you think. Because
I'll be any worse than
Very
Benedict's
wrong.
reviews.
Bury me in the comments.
Well, I mean, yeah, I am genuinely interested as well, because there might be, I'm fully expecting that each one of us is going to get someone coming out of like chat saying, I can't believe you did this episode about this country and you didn't include this artist, and they'll pop something in there. So we're willing to come back to it. But anyway, we've only got a minute before.
Well, that's why I like, that's why I like these videos though, because we pick something which we like and which is maybe a little bit different, instead of just going for the most biggest artist with the most clicks and views and stuff like that. I mean, we could do that, but
we do our best.
We do our best. I like that we're different and unique with our choices, instead of just going for the big hitters all the time.
And talking of that, next week it's Korea with Benedict. So 30
I think I don't
seconds
have
to go.
time next week.
Well, now it's time for you, good segue, to keep your ears to the east.
We're gonna feed Benedict a Snickers. He's not him when he's hungry.
I'm not a diva anymore.